I wrote my thesis about Pretty Baby. Yeah. I wrote my thesis about the films of Louis Malle and the voyage from innocence to experience shown in his films. In order to live with it all, I had to intellectualize it all. And that gave me kind of the other agency over it, because I took it and I owned it from my own perspective and wrote my thesis on it at Princeton University. It's a little school in Jersey.
Brooke, what does it feel like to finally have it premiere? I mean, imagine it's a years-long process.
It's been a very long process, and I sort of was I almost was a spectator during it, to be honest. It felt very emotional on many levels, and I was very proud, and I was so thankful to be with this team because I knew they were going to take good care of the subject.
She's my bestie, and I had heard so many stories over the years, and I really felt like her stories resonated in such a big way, and that there were so many layers to it and so many lessons to it, and it was a no-brainer to do a documentary with her, knowing that we would love and support her, and then for us to get Lana Wilson, who is the most coveted person, was incredibly exciting. And then I knew we were all going to be in good hands.
You mentioned on stage yesterday that you've been approached multiple times to do a documentary. What was not right about those offers as opposed to
mostly it was tone and basically caliber of intelligence and talent. Like, to be really honest, it was much more of the focus was not in the proper place. It's about a much bigger conversation, and it's more relatable, I think, than people would assume. The story is more relatable, and it actually pertains to a much bigger audience. And I just wanted to make sure that it was deep enough and broad enough as a topic, and I knew that Lana's vision would portray that.
The thing I can't still really wrap my brain around, which I think is maybe the point of the film, is that there's this paradigm shift between, you're this wanton child seductress and then a college virgin who's punished for being a prude. You must be furious sometimes. How do you deal with anger?
Wow. I mean, I wished I could have gotten to an anger place earlier. I don't have anger in my heart at all because it's usually about other people. So any projection that was happening and any negativity, for some reason, by the grace of God or whatever you want to call it, I knew it was about them. It was always never really about me. It was about something that was going on in their psyche, whether it was the culture or the individual. I didn't have anger, I had pity.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite sequences in the film with what Lana did to go from Chernobyl to obsession with Brooke's virginity, to Iran-Contra, to obsession with Brooke's virginity, and see all these things that were happening and what our culture grabs onto, I think is illuminating, and it's happening every single day right now. Going through the process of watching Lana put this together and seeing these interviews from 20, 30 years ago, and seeing how, again, my predecessors in these jobs were acting in a way that they couldn't have been conscious of what they were saying at the time. But it was accepted by the culture at that time as well. They were sitting there smiling and perpetuated and thinking they were doing a great job, and you can't watch it today because it makes you so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's so interesting how in their interviews with you, so often the hosts are not actually interested in who you are or your answers. They're seeking to know what category to put you in, what stereotype to put you in. And as you say, that changed very drastically, very quickly. You went from this sexualized girl to a virginity symbol as I think a way of, trying to tell this story about America. Our cultural values are changing now. Here's the new morality we want to project to the world. Who can help us with that? Brooke Shields can.
What also shocked me is when you see the females do it.
Yeah.
Like you almost expect it. Sorry, from the males, because but that was the culture.
Girl, you go.
No, but you sort of like the Tom Snyders of the world. You go like, okay, here we're gonna go. I know it's gonna happen. But then when you see the women do it, who have children, who are moms, and they're as sort of violent in their questioning and in their interrogating. It was an interrogation.
And they're punishing.
Well, and you actually see all that, not in so much by what they say or what Brooke's mom said or even what Brooke says in these interviews, but the look on Brooke's face whenever you cut away after one of these questions says everything you need to know about our culture at the time.